So now it's time to discuss the obvious big thing: Eden Hazard gone. As sad as it is to see Eden Hazard go, I believe it was after 8 years at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. He's gone to go pursue bigger and better things, and I wish him all the best. It is a big loss for Chelsea. There's no getting around that. He is a star player, and many times he carried that team on his back. He created so many plays. He was so aggressive, and every time he got the ball, you had to be worried if you were a defender. And if you were the keeper, you were scared of what that man would do with the ball. He is so amazing. To me, he's better than, hands down, better than Neymar. He's better than Messi. I think he is the world's greatest player right now. So talking now about players gone. Gonzalo Higuain is not really a loss. He really didn't do anything this season. He really wasn't that big. He only came because Mauricio Sarri had come. And talking about other players like Gary Cahill, I really wasn't a big loss. He really wasn't playing very much. And the Rob Green was a retired keeper who had left. And if you think about that, not a big loss, but also Eduardo as a stopper, he's gone. I'm not really worried. And about Kyle Scott, he's a youngster with the Chelsea. I'm not really worried about that loss either. But the big problem, though, that comes with that is losing more players during the transfer ban. During the transfer ban, the signing ban, you can't sign anybody else. So you're stuck with the players that you do have. So that brings into another section, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But what that means for Chelsea. So it is a loss. And this will be a rebuilding season and will be good for some youngsters. They get to get some playing time under them, and it'll be good. Next up, Mauricio Sarri. 1 year. 1 year. It didn't feel like he really wanted to be at Chelsea. I think he tried to do his best the 1 year he was there, but he wanted to go back to Italy. There was no doubt. This was just a stepping stone. So many people do that when players do that. It's whatever. He's gone. So with that, who is he going to take with him? Gonzalo Higuain is going to go back to Juventus. And then you think of other players, Jorginho. And then he's probably also going to try to sign Emerson Palmieri, which that'll happen. That's not, again, I'm not really upset about that. Jorginho really wasn't, I think, a big playmaker and didn't really have an impact every time he came on the field, and neither was Gonzalo Higuain. That was a waste of time and money, in my opinion. So next, now moving on to the new head coach of Chelsea. I think it's going to be Super Frank Lampard. He'll be announced any day now, if it already hasn't happened, and because they've been holding talks. Derby allowed it and permitted it. He right now seems like a really good fit for Chelsea. You think about a time of rebuilding, someone who the fans love. Chelsea's going to be tested, and that's somebody who will get almost a pass for the season if the season goes bad. I think as long as Chelsea finishes within the top 6 to top 8, that's going to be considered a good season for Chelsea. They're not a top 3 contender this year. They're not going to be. But I think that they can still have a good season under Frank. And if you look at him, he had a great season at Derby County. I believe they have 2 players, maybe 3 of Chelsea's that are on loan there that he has firsthand experience with. And with Jody Morris, them both coming back to Chelsea because they're a duo, it's going to happen. I think it looks good for Chelsea because Frank at Derby County ran a 4-3-3 style of play. And it worked for him. And I think it'll work at Chelsea too. He'll get to give some youngsters some playing time. And I think that'll be great because the first thing he's going to have to do now is try to keep the players that he has there from leaving. And that means calling back some players on loan. Talking to you, Alvaro Morata, you're coming back, boy. So now there's a list. ESPN put out a list. A video with Craig Burley, about a former Chelsea player himself, about the top 5 players that he thinks that Frank would have to bring back. And I agree with most of his list. I agree with the number 1 is Morata. Sorry, buddy, Madrid, you're coming back. Atletico Madrid is not going to pay the $55 million a buyout for you to come back to buy out your contract. You're coming back to Stamford Bridge. I mean, I loved you. I thought you were going to perform a little bit better, but I love him. And he had put the second as Timoe Bakayoko. I think he had a great when he was signed at Chelsea. Tomori. He put Mason Mount, who was at Derby with Frank, and so was Tomori. And the one I disagree with Craig Burley on is he said that Michi Batshuayi, the Belgian, he would have to come back as his pick, his fifth pick. I disagree there. I would love to see Tammy Abraham come back to Chelsea. I think the time being on loan, I think now he's ready for a chance, and I don't think he's going to mess it up. I think he knows that this is his time to play for Chelsea and to shine. If not, he knows he's going to be gone. I don't think Kurt Zouma, I agree. I don't think Kennedy. I don't think Pasalic, and I don't think Victor Moses. I don't think they're going to be brought back. So now moving on to the person I'm most excited to see come to Chelsea, which is Christian Pulisic. As an American myself, and also a fellow Pennsylvanian, I'm excited about him to come. As an attacking midfielder and winger, I'm excited. I think he is not as dynamic as a person, as a player that they could have gotten, but thankfully, I think he's going to make an impact at Chelsea, and he has to. He knows he has to. The weight's already on him. I mean, he's played at Dortmund for 3 seasons. He's had about 81 appearances, if I remember that correctly, and he's only had like 10 goals. So, not a prolific goal scorer, but I don't think that's what he is. I think he creates chances. He is the playmaker. I don't think he's the goal scorer, prolific goal scorer like Eden Hazard. Because if you look at the men's national team and the appearances that he's made, it was 29 appearances and 11 goals, which is pretty good. You consider international style of play. I think he's very talented. He's a youngster. I think he can do a lot. And as a midfielder, yeah, he's going to have to compete with some of Chelsea's other midfielders. But you know what? I think that'll create a better situation for Chelsea because people are going to be fighting. They're going to be putting it all out, as they should be. But it gives them more of an incentive to play harder. Now the last part, the outlook. The outlook for this season, I think everybody is almost kind of calling it already. Again, another Manchester City repeat, a three-peat. It's just the way that it is right now. Manchester City has got it going on, not United. They don't have it going on. I think Chelsea's in a better position, and they can't even sign players, and they're in a better position than United right now. They're in shambles. Chelsea's not going to finish top third. I've already said that before. They are not going to be a top 3 contender, I don't think. I think in the top 6 to top 8 contender, they'll be playing for. And like I said, as long as they finish within the top 8, Chelsea fans are going to give Lampard a pass, and they will give Chelsea a pass this time around. Next season, when they are able to sign people, that will be a completely different story. Now, I'm not like leaving, oh man, the ship's sinking, oh man, what is Chelsea going to do? What are they going to do? Chelsea have players, like I said, they're not going to be a top 3 contender, but Chelsea still have it going on. They still have a vast players to call upon to bring back. Like I said, they're going to call back Morata. That's a given. I'm looking forward to those Instagram pics of him being like sad and because with his twin boys. But like I said, I'm not worried. They have Peter Cech just came back and signed on as one of their advisors / like kind of coaches, like a technical role. Frank Lampard with Jody Morris. I think it's going to be good. And then he knows a lot of the players at the youth academy. And then you always have John Terry who kind of comes in and helps. I think that'd be a great deal. Getting some of the older Chelsea players to give their experience to the younger guys. I think it'll only better Chelsea for the next season and really give City a run for their money, and Liverpool, because Liverpool has got it going on. As the time of this video, I believe Coutinho scored a goal for Brazil in their win over Argentina. I mean, he hasn't been a blowout player, but he's good. So I'm not worried, and I look forward to this season. I'm excited to see what style of play Lampard's going to bring to Chelsea, what the youngsters, who's going to call back, and who's going to give Chelsea the best kind of foot going forward. I'm excited to see this, and I think every other person who's a Chelsea fan should be also excited as well. It could be worse. You could be United after all.